the fuck is that
guy? Well, they're still saying that at Laurel. Welcome in, everybody. Joe and Mike with you here on this Monday. Another edition of the Joe Quill Show. And I got to turn the TV down a little bit, too. Because we got double duty action right now. And holy shit. Unfortunately, the Phillies can only make up one game despite that score being 12-0.
Wow.
Because, sometimes you know. But anyways.
Sometimes you win, you lose. Sometimes you lose, you win. Sometimes you win and lose, you're a tie.
And also, you were saying as well about this one.
Oh, I did say that, didn't I?
Yeah. So, and if you're on Twitch with me at twitch.tv/JoeQuills, we're also on the Q&A Sports Zone channels as well. That reminds me. I got to put the Q&A Sports Zone logo up here as well. I'll get to it tomorrow. Excuse me, I had to fart there. No, actually, that was probably a motorcycle going by. So, but we joke around with shit like that. And and you can see my caption from Saturday's show.
Yeah.
Did my horse win? Because now I don't think. Well, AJ will probably say he gave out the winner, but whatever, he can. I'm not going to question him, but he had on his caption, pick the Oaks, pick the Derby, pick the Black-Eyed Susan. Well, he legitimately picked the Black-Eyed Susan. I have proof of that.
Okay.
And there was a reasoning behind it. But me, did my horse win? Nay. So I can get rid of that because even though it's true, my horse did not win yesterday. And my horse did not win today either.
Okay.
My horse made a nice move on the turn. It looked like it was getting by the favorite. I'm like, all right, I finally got one. You can do it. I mean, I could hear people at parks if I was there today, because I wasn't. Now, I know Jessica Paquette wouldn't have said because she would have been 6 floors up.
Right.
But I'm sure some people there would have been saying this when my horse was eye to eye, nose to nose with the horse that won. I know people would be saying this.
You're probably right.
And then here's what happened at the end.
Yeah.
Because the horse just rebroke and won by a length and a half, whatever it was. So, but you can. Now, some people will say, "Well, Joe, you're not hitting like you were last year." Oh, Buffalo scored 2-1. We'll keep you abreast of the action there. So not because we're also we're keeping track of that. We'll keep track of the basketball game as well. And you also, if you're on Twitch with me, you got the score bot here as well that'll fill in as we go on during the night with all the games and stuff. So just to let you guys know. So, so we'll go through the Belmont. Go through the Preakness. Just some random thoughts with that, and we'll also talk about. Talk about the Phillies. They stayed hot in Pittsburgh.
Yes, they did.
And they're winning right now, 5-4 in the top of the 9th. Aaron Rodgers returned to the Steelers.
Yep.
Updates on the Q&A Racing Stable. And also, we're going to give you updates. And also, I've been teasing Gaming on My Own, which is the out-of-park baseball one. And I created some things over the last couple of days. Well, a lot of it today. So, wait. They had the score wrong here. The bot was being a bot.
Okay.
So we'll get into that because, and we'll get into the whole AI discussion as well because of the fact that it does take jobs away and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So let me just pull up here. Because I do want to show you something that we created on Q&A Racing, Q&A Sports Zone as well. And it will lead to our discussion.
Okay.
And this was, AJ's been messing with AI as well. I have too, and we can talk about AI and stuff like that as well. But automation, artificial intelligence, whatever you want to call it. But I don't think this will get us. I don't think this will get us into trouble with copyright strikes or anything. But I'm going to play this here so you guys can see the end of this race here. This was at Laurel Park this year because they're renovating Pimlico. And we'll take a look at this. And I should. There we go.
Napoleon Solo captures the Preakness.
Only because of the fact that I kind of don't want to show because one of those slides that were on the right-hand side there, it's kind of like what I'm going to be talking about near the end of the show.
Okay.
So they were at Laurel Park. Apparently, I didn't realize they had a section over here. It must have been like the farm hand, the stable people and stuff like that. But here was the end of the race here that we created. Now, unmute the site. There we go.
Napoleon Solo captures the Preakness Stakes at Laurel Park. First Triple Crown wins for jockey Paco Lopez, trainer Chad Summers, and owner Al Gold. The 7-1 long shot swept past Taj Mahal on the second turn, then held off Iron Honor to win by a length and a quarter. None of the top three even ran in the Kentucky Derby. Napoleon Solo, $17.80 on a $2 ticket.
All right. I mean, I just realized now, like none of the top. Oh, that's true. None of the top three in this race ran in the Kentucky Derby. Okay. And nobody in the top three in the Kentucky Derby ran the Preakness as well.
Right.
So now, first of all, well, we can talk about like the crowd and everything there because the crowd was going wild, all 12 of them. But one thing I noticed with the race, and it may be my expert eye, because apparently I'm the expert.
Yeah, you are.
Whatever. You can tell I just don't like tags and titles like that.
Okay, expert.
Title and registration. Why would I do? Just give me your title and registration, damn it. But game over, Phillies win.
Cool.
So and when I watched the race, and the one thing I was saying ahead of time was I could see 3, 4, 5, 6 horses trying to go for the lead.
Yeah.
So when and the thing is with paper and everything else, things don't always go like you expect it to. And some horses just aren't fast enough, or some horses are so amped that they burn off a 22-4, whatever it was that Taj Mahal ran in the first quarter. So, and I don't think they're the track time. I don't think the track times during the day were that fast either. I wasn't really paying attention either. So, you can argue what you want, but also, and I mentioned this on Also Eligible, and I might have mentioned it to you when we got the parks. They ran 4 straight races on the turf.
Yeah, you did mention it.
So the last race before the Preakness on the main track was like at 2:48. You have 4 turf races, and then, oh, by the way, 7 o'clock is the. And it may just be, they want to get the turf races in. They want to do this. They want to do that. Maybe an NBC saying, yeah, well, you can show the dinner party stage. You can show the Jim McKay sprint, even though Jim McKay was never on NBC or whatever. Whatever. But you get the idea. By the way, Jim McKay went to the prep, by the way.
Did he?
Yeah.
Didn't I know that?
But you have to find his real name to find him in the alumni scrolls, even though he's been dead for quite a few years now. But when I watched the race, and I did see something as well. The Preakness was one of the slowest races in like 60 years, I think it was. Let me see if I think I shared it on my personal Facebook. And the thing is, oh, by the way, even though this is a true statement, even if somebody isn't watching right now, they're not, from what I see.
Okay.
Even though this is directed towards Boston Red Sox fans, we all know this. Baston Salt's gag. I gotta change that.
Okay.
So I'll stop sharing that. We're back. Let me. Yeah, I gotta. All right, Schwarber's back on there. Even as a designated hitter, he had to take a day off today.
Right.
Pussy. Come on, you're a designated hitter. I expect you to be playing 162 games. Unless you got a vaginal wart issue or something. But we won't get into that. But, yeah, so one of the slowest races in a long time. And I thought and by the way, Gage Wood, the #1 pick from a couple years ago,
Yeah.
he got bumped up to Reading today.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Whoops. By the way, yesterday was the anniversary of the 23-22 game.
Was it really?
Uh-huh.
That's so cool.
Here it is. This was on the American Horse Racing Legends Facebook page.
Okay.
And they note the time here. 1:58:69. Nice. I'm sorry. The 69 part.
I got you.
But according to American Horse Racing Legends, it was the slowest Preakness in 76 years.
Wow.
The field walks onto a track that is not Pimlico. Golden Tempo's not there. Renegade's not there. The Kentucky Derby and runner-up both passed the second jewel. There's no clear favorite. There's no Triple Crown on the line. 4,800 spectators. Sold out, yes. But Pimlico on a normal Preakness day holds 60,000. Well, that's with the old grandstand.
Right.
He won in 1:58:69, the slowest Preakness since 1950, when Hill Prince needed 105 and 1 to cross the wire. 76 years later on the track officially rated fast. The race came within a breath of that mark for a scale. Secretary ran the same mile and 3/16 and 153 flat in 1973 at Pimlico. A different track, a different geometry. Yeah, and that was something that Karnacki mentioned. He mentioned on Saturday.
Okay.
Nearly 6 seconds separate the peak of what this race can be from what it was on Saturday night. Same distance, different world. No blame for Napoleon solo. He answered every question, but the field was what it was. No horse had won multiple Grade 1 races all season. Only 3 had won the Derby 2 weeks prior. The infield was nearly empty. Yeah, there were no fans there. It was just like some dignitaries because I believe the photo was in the infield.
Okay.
A quarter of, and this is part of the reason why. A quarter of Laurel Park is a marsh. No headliner, no party. Pimlico was 20 miles away, wrapped in scaffolding. The 2026 Preakness will go down in the record books, just not for one of the reasons a race usually does. People have questions, horses have answers. Chad Summers said about people have questions, whatever. But so that was one of the slowest Preaknesses, probably at that distance, because they've run that at different distances as well.
Right.
But even the most astute horse racing guys, and also with the way that the board is at parks, you can't necessarily see those fractional times on there that well. But if you're sitting there and you're watching the simulcast feed,
Mm-hmm.
if you know when to look, you'll see an update from Buffalo. And you can, if you're used to the graphics and when things will pop up, you can, even if the track announcer isn't getting to it, because you have to remember they have a routine. It's like, well, it's this and this horse going for the lead, followed by this person, and half a mile in 48 and 2, something like that. But
Right.
But yeah, so I think we got to see that these horses weren't the caliber of Renegade, of Golden Tempo, of Further Ado, the Puma, all the horses that may end up running at Saratoga in 3 weeks.
Hmm.
So I guarantee you put those horses at Laurel,
Right.
and you probably see a much different result. You probably see a faster race.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
But and I'm trying to pull something up while I'm talking here. So you didn't necessarily have a huge. You didn't have a. Nobody knew who to make the favorite.
The Taco Hall was just a sentimental favorite because
it's from Maryland.
Yeah, because it's from Maryland. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maryland connections, the husband-wife combination,
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But just looking over this, 22 and 3, 46 and 3, 112 flat, 158, 138 and 2, and 158. So going a mile and a quarter, that probably would have been 205, 206, 207, which would have been like, oh my God. Horses at parks could probably run a mile in 3/16. Well, depending on the class of the horse, because they ran a mile and 3/16 race a couple of weeks ago just for shits and giggles, a claiming race.
Mm-hmm.
Went in 2:02.
Yeah.
But that it was like 12,000 claimers, so it was like pretty low with that. So, but but one thing I always say, sometimes it's not about. Well, sometimes it's about the speed. Sometimes you go too fast. And I think Taj Mahal going for the lead and running as fast for the first half mile, that may have tired out some of the horses that were chasing.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I'll tell you, you can run a 24-4, a super slow fraction for this type of a race. These type of horses in this race, because you're going to get some horses, and probably you would have probably had them coming home a couple of seconds slower if you had a bigger crowd, because they only had 4,800 people. Nobody was in the infield because it's a marsh.
Yeah.
As we saw there, not Brandon Marsh, by the way.
Yeah, not Brandon Marsh.
Not Brad Marsh.
No.
But sometimes you go for a huge lead because you can tire out the rest of the field because they try to chase you to catch up. But Napoleon Solo had that perfect trip, and this is why I always say when we're watching, also when I'm doing also eligible, you get an idea of how fast the horse is running when they give those speed figures at the top left of each horse,
Mm-hmm.
each horse's section of the program. I say it's good to know that, but you no two races are the same, and you could get a horse that's learned to do something different, which Napoleon Solo did. He learned to stalk right behind the favorite,
Yeah.
put a little pressure on him, and he folded.
Yeah.
So Napoleon Solo, that name will be retired when the horse retires, because you win a Triple Crown race,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the Breeders' Cup Classic as well. Those 4 races, you win those races, your name gets retired, it doesn't get recycled.
Okay.
But if you're just fuckface McGee, if that slips through the cracks, you can end up using that name again in 5-10 years, because that's what the jockey club's there for. It's like, oh, this name's still around, can't use it. Oh yeah, you can use it. Like, for example, the name for my horse, which I'm not going to mention because I don't want anybody to steal the idea.
Okay.
My horse will be, my horse needs a name right now.
Right.
Maybe I do put in, and if we do have to pick, give ideas for names.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. Part of the reason why wherever AJ goes
Mm-hmm.
in the Mid-Atlantic region, I'm going to go, because Commonwealth will be there. I can say, "Hey, I'm Joe. I'm the host of the Also Eligible show on Q&A." So that's the main reason why, especially right now, that I'm going.
Okay.
So, but and we got updates on Schoolyard Superman as well. So, I have a name, but
You do have a name.
I might
I know your name.
not my name.
Oh.
Who's on first?
What's on second?
I don't know. Third base.
Okay.
But maybe I should suggest, instead of the name I have for the horse,
Mm-hmm.
that I would submit if it turns into a contest.
You could.
Witness protection or something similar.
Right.
Because if I come up with a good name, I'll say, hey, you need a guy who can name horses and be very creative and hopefully won't get into trouble.
Good. Don't want to do that now.
you know, for example, I know, like you can't use curse words or anything like that, and if it gets me a job at Commonwealth, then hey, so be it. But yeah, um, so I just think that we'll see what happens with that, and but Napoleon did win. Um, he's going to be sitting out until the Haskell, which is in July.
Okay.
So it looks like we got two sets of horses right now. One that's going to go from Kentucky to Saratoga, and then we have another group that's going from Pimlico to the Jersey Shore. So that's it right now. But so that's the case with that. And do have to say, and I posted this on my Insta stories. And by the way, you can go to all my socials. Right there. And that's why you need to go on to twitch.tv/JoeQuills. Yeah, I got to tinker with this a little bit.
Okay.
I think. No, they're good. Okay. So, so a lot of what you'll see. I mean, I did take that picture after 5 o'clock, so it was about maybe half an hour after the last race, I guess. So when I took the picture,
Yeah.
you would have thought it was a regular old Tuesday after the last race was over, because there was almost nobody on the on the apron there.
That's true.
Now, granted, the races were over. They had their promotional kiddie things over in the picnic area that ended. You couldn't get any more hot dogs. You couldn't stroke the wiener. You couldn't do any of that stuff. But it was empty.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad using the self-serve machines, which I didn't really use too much because I was playing everything on my phone. Because I can't give out a winner on Quills Picks Winners, but I did give out the early daily double on Also Eligible on Saturday morning.
Wow.
Only because I said to AJ, if we remember, and if we don't, it's not that big of a deal, kind of like how we forgot with the Derby. I said, well, we can always look at the first race if we want to. And you can dance if you want to. And you can leave yourself behind. But you do have, I mean, it was dead in there, I think when you go in and you saw where there was one bank of, the one bank of self-serve machines are.
Yeah.
Now, when you go up to the stairs to go up to the main floor area, because it's like recessed a little bit and it's part of the ramp. On the other side of those stairs, near where the restaurant area is,
okay,
which is also like a horseman area as well.
Right.
There's also a bank there where nobody was at. So I was like, all right, person, blank person.
Oh, that's right.
So I was like, you know what? I don't feel like dealing with anybody. So I walked over towards the other bank, towards where the food area is.
Yeah.
Totally empty. I was like, and that's where I played the pick four, didn't come in, and all that other stuff. But it is what it is. So
yeah, we tried.
So Napoleon Solo won, and check out QandARacing.com. I even posted today. I even posted a preliminary schedule through the month of August.
Wow.
I was very productive today.
Impressive.
AIs left and right, and
Right.
you know, you're creating things, and you know, most days I'm just put my feet up behind underneath the table here and just doze off and shit. But and you got to see some of those AIs that I
Yes,
created today.
yes, I did. Impressive.
But and AJ liked it too. But yeah, so I just think, you know, and here's the thing: people are going to say, "Oh, you can't change the Derby, and you can't change the Triple Crown timing. It's like that for a reason." It's if you change the timing of it, it's going to make everything an asterisk and all. Well, Napoleon Solo gets an asterisk because nobody ran.
Yeah.
Because he was the winner of the
Who the fuck is that guy?
Preakness.
Right.
And I mentioned that on Also Eligible. I just didn't use the name,
Okay.
the actual drop.
Right.
I also had headsets on, so that doesn't play, or at least you won't hear it. So, but I mean, I told you mine, which is put them on holidays,
Mm-hmm.
because that way, Memorial Day, it's Preakness Day.
Yeah.
Well, also if you do first Saturday in June, first Saturday in July, that's also, you know, whatever.
Well, how about this too? What about the health of the horses?
Mm-hmm.
You got, you got the Derby 2 weeks later. You got the Preakness 3 weeks later. You got the Dynamite. A lot of those trainers are not going to try to do all 3 events.
They don't race like that anymore.
Yeah, they don't. They really don't.
I mean, you'll see some with, like, you know, the regular blue collar horses that run during the week at parks, or you know, even the non-stake race days, you know, that sort of thing.
I wonder, did Smarty do that? Did Smarty run all 3 races when he won that?
Yeah,
he did. Yeah, because I know. Yeah, he had won the Derby, and
also the Arkansas Derby was 2 to 3 weeks before the Kentucky Derby. It wasn't 5 weeks before; it was 3.
That's a lot for a horse.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
But these horses, I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing that these horses are getting pampered. Whoop, wrong one. So,
Okay.
maybe I should have played that tonight too, or maybe even played it in. If I played in a parlay, both teams would have lost.
Yeah.
By the way, for those that don't know, I have my money on Montreal tonight. So, Montreal's up 2-1. So when I look at all this, and FanDuel Racing, they're still around. You can go to FanDuel Racing. You may, you know, depending on what platform you use, whether you use Facebook or X, you can find that video. Probably easier on Facebook because, you know, it may not end up on X. They said, well, horse racing isn't changing. Well, look what baseball did. And they cited all the different things that they did over the last few years. Some I agree with, some I don't. Like, for example, I don't agree with the designated hitter, but, you know, other than that, you know, I'm okay with everything else. But, you know, baseball made changes for the better. It's just that some didn't.
True.
So, but
ABS is still out. It's still the
Yeah.
jury's still out for the ABS stuff.
yeah, they're going to be tinkering with that, like you wouldn't believe.
Just like you and I were talking about on that Saturday, I'm okay with it. Just don't, because if it says this is a ball and strike, don't fault the umpires for that. Remember, I think the capper said 1 inch.
Yeah.
No, don't fault the umpires. You know.
If you want to blame somebody, unfortunately, he's not an umpire anymore. I don't know if you can find him in some secluded island. Angel Martinez. Angel Hernandez, I mean.
I was about to say, does his first game begin with
Yeah. I mean, kind of like what Kyle Schwarber did a couple years ago on Sunday Night Baseball. You missed up here.
Right.
You missed down here. You missed down here. You missed down here.
I remember that.
I mean, he didn't take one for the Phillies. He took one for both teams.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
But I just think seeing how close that they missed, and like there was one that I saw today on whatever, it might have been Instagram. It was even less than a tenth of an inch, even though they say less than it. I mean, it was so close to missing that top corner,
right?
That it was like, wow. How do you know that is a ball? That is too borderline for me to even.
Of course, sure.
But you know, when you're in the end, and I don't know when it was in the game, but you know, it's 7th, 8th inning. You haven't lost one yet. Yeah, why not do it? You know, but you know, but the thing is, even with you know, back in the 80s and in early 90s when Richie Ashburn was still around, he would be calling the game and he would go right down the middle for a ball.
Yeah.
But in a way, we opened the Pandora's box years ago, not just in baseball, but all sports, with instant replay or whatever you want to call it, because we have to have the correct call.
Jeez. You're right. You're exactly right. Yeah, box is open.
Can you imagine if there was instant replay for the Immaculate Reception?
Oh! Waved off. What the heck are you talking about?
But also, there was different rules back then where, if I remember from watching the video, because I wasn't born yet, I don't think. If the ball ricocheted off of your own teammate and then went to you, it's an incomplete pass.
That's what I thought.
But if it goes off the other team like it did,
yeah,
it was a completed pass.
Yeah.
But when you see Franco Harris grabbing the ball, the cameras that, you know, like the main pan camera, I think that's what they call it, it was too busy watching the ball 10 yards upfield.
Right.
Whereas the end zone cam that, you know, somebody was holding camera, the ball's here, the camera cutoff is here, so you don't see whether it touched the ground or not.
That's true.
And I was in Pittsburgh's airport the one time, and I took a picture of the Franco Harris statue.
Uh-huh.
And I said, Raiders fans think that ball's a little too high. Just a search of it. But nobody took the bait or anything, unfortunately. But, you know, you do what you do. But when I look at that, you know, I just think that not just in baseball, but in all sports. I mean, like, for example, horse racing has had it for years. I mean, but you have to have it because, these two jockeys are beating the shit out of each other down the back stretch like they were the one time at Parks. Or, you know, this horse veered out and, you know, or, you know, but in some sports, you know, I mean, in a way, you kind of want to have, the human element.
That's true.
And that's going to lead to later on when we talk about AI shit that I created. But,
okay.
Because trust me, you know, AI is taking over the world and everything, and you know, it is what it is. So. But But we opened that Pandora's box, and now because of T-Mobile, I think it's Google or whoever that helps to create the imagery and stuff, even though it's sponsored by T-Mobile.
Right.
You're missing by like that much. I don't expect an umpire to be 100% correct.
No.
I mean, even with balls in play, balls swung at where it's obvious you call it a strike, you're only calling maybe 250 pitches, so maybe like half of it.
Maybe.
So, if some are Captain Obvious strikes because, it's right there. And, like Kevin Youkilis never swung at a 3-0 pitch in his life. But, And by the way, I saw something today. The White Sox, when La Russa was the manager,
Yeah.
they mentioned how he ripped into his one player after he hit a home run when the other team had their catcher pitching.
Right.
And he threw one of those 40-mile-an-hour cheese balls.
Right.
Tony La Russa ripped into him. He hadn't been the same ever since. But I don't even think he's in baseball anymore. But yeah, it's something that keeps on popping up, both good and bad. But would I like to see a game without instant replay? Yeah, sure. But I also know that just like everything else in life, it's a necessary evil.
Yeah. We gotta live with it.
Yeah, and I don't know how you feel about instant replay and everything else,
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. It's been abused.
Mm-hmm.
In all sports, it's just been abused. But like you said, when that box is open, you can't put the lid back on the box. You can't. It's just out there.
Yeah.
I just don't. I just really don't like it when, in all the different sports, you want to blame the umpire, blame the referee. And before this was their job, and you got instant replay, you got the ABS system, but you still had a human element. You had that. But like you said, when you open up that box, yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, we're never going to have non-instant replay.
No.
Well, maybe high school, but even then, forget it. But I think there's a purity of the game which got tarnished years ago because of Angel Hernandez and whoever was horrible in front of him, and C.B. Buckner now, and all those guys.
And here's the sad part: there were good umpires, but you get those few who mess it up for all the other umpires.
So
yeah.
So I just like the one thing is the way that they brought MLB brought Major League brought replay in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't bring it in the beginning of the year. They brought it in like in July or August.
What was that?
Got whacked in the head, I think. But
You say no penalty?
I think I know what he's saying.
Oh, hit the post. Oh yeah, that should have been a penalty.
think this is what he was saying.
What?
You know what that is French for?
No, what? I like that drop. I like
That isn't even a
drop.
drop. That's Google Translate.
Is it really?
Yeah, you can mess with Pat one night and be like, type in like, yeah, Joe's a good friend. He let me have 2 tricks of the, whatever,
Uh-huh.
and you put it in some weird language.
Uh-huh.
Play it in that weird language, and then
Wow. That's that's hilarious.
but you're on your own with, I'm not letting you in if you do it though.
That's hilarious. I like that. That's
So-
hilarious. He was saying that though, because it should have been.
So yeah, so I don't know how we got into instant replay, but we were talking about the Phillies there.
Yeah.
And the Phillies won again tonight.
Yes, they did. Go
They-
Phils.
They had the lead, they lost it.
Yep.
Got the lead again, lost the lead. 2-run home run by Bryson Stott, and the Phillies won 5-4.
Yep.
That puts them at 16-4 with Don Mattingly. And I'm going to tell you right now, I think AJ is a little biased on this because he grew up a Yankees fan, and he was a fan of Don Mattingly. Because he also said he was a little upset that Mattingly took the position because he wanted him in New York to take over for Brett Boone
Right.
or Aaron Boone.
Aaron Boone.
Oh, it's a Boone. So he ended up. He said to me, "Yeah, Phillies are going to win the World Series this year because I wanted him to be the guy with the Yankees." And I can see why, but
So it's looking good. One of those guys.
oops.
Uh-oh.
I got him.
You know?
Yep.
Okay.
I timed out accidentally. I
Mhm.
removed it. I banned. I removed because I accidentally did it. I banned again and then sent the report in.
There you go.
So, and we got a tie game in Buffalo.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Phillies won, and they did something that they don't do too often in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They swept them.
Yep.
They swept the 4-game series in 22. Ironically enough, when Rob Thompson was the interim manager, this year, Don Mattingly's the interim manager.
Yep.
They sweep Pittsburgh. So I guess what you need to do is every year you fire the manager, or you just name somebody at the beginning of the year. Hey, you're the interim manager this year
Right,
because
right.
we have you as the interim manager. We're going to sweep all 3 games in Pittsburgh.
It seems to work.
But yeah, so it just seems like night and day. And I don't necessarily think Rob Thompson was doing that bad of a job. It was just that players just weren't doing enough, and sometimes even if you brought in somebody to take over who you hate, despise, totally changes things in the locker room and makes things worse, kind of like a Joe Girardi type who was, don't play music in here, all the things he did. I think having somebody new take over, sometimes that works, and it's just weird that it just happens that way.
It is.
But I don't think I just think that it was just something that, hey, with some of these guys at least, hey, you don't do your job, we can get rid of you and get prospects for you and rebuild our farm system. But instead, Phillies responded 16 out of 20. And now they're going to be another game closer to the Braves, I think. Let me just double check that here.
Okay.
Phillies are only 7 games back now.
So you're saying there's a chance?
So should I set up for the parade in November? Or around Halloweenish?
Good.
Should I invite SJ down? Nah.
Nah.
Only if we beat the Yankees in the World Series.
There you go. There you go. That'd be funny. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Look, we beat your team. But yeah, so I just think Phillies are clicking right now. You still need bits and pieces, and the bullpen gave up a lead again, and you have different things going on. So, but it also helps you are playing teams that now they're still Cincinnati after the loss tonight still 500 and they're dead last in their division.
Yep.
Everybody in that division is over 500. Now, could their schedule have been a little bit soft in the beginning and the Phillies was a little extra hard in the beginning? Yeah.
Maybe.
Because the one thing I will tell you is it's all about catching teams at the right time. And it may be more of a product of catching, like, for example, they played Texas to begin the year. Any extra inning game is a toss-up. So they had one game which was an extra inning game. They lost an 8-3 game. Then you go to San Francisco a couple weeks later. We never win in San Francisco.
That's true.
Then you had that long-ass losing streak, 10 games, which put them in that hole. And they had a rain out, and they had the firing on the 27th, I think it is, and everything's turned around. So
It sure is.
And I did see something today, yesterday. Let me see if I think it's on my Insta stories. Oh, shit. Okay, hold on. I got to find it here. Let me go into my archives. Do I have it on here? That's the question. I must not have it.
Q.
No goal.
Oh.
By the way, did you see that Saturday, I think it was, the Reading Phillies won 20-0?
I did not see that. Wow. Phillies.
Or was it? Was it on Facebook? I just want to see if I have it here.
Okay.
I either did not save it or it got pulled. They said if the Phillies kept their pace since Don Mattingly took over the Phillies, they can still win 115 games.
Oh, dang.
Is it happening? No.
No.
But that's the way it is. So, but you know, it is what it is. So, so that was, you know, and the Phillies are getting into contention again. They're 2 games over 500. You know, they win one tomorrow, they'll be 3 games over 500. And if they win on Wednesday after that, they'll be games over.
Right.
And there may be only be 5 games out of first. Who knows? But the Phillies did win, and let me just do one last thing here, just so I can show that if they still have it up. So let me go under DraftKings here, because I want to show the graphic. Let me see here. I know it was on DraftKings. I remember that. Nah, they took it down. Or it was not on Instagram. I'm not searching for it anymore.
Okay.
So, but the Phillies are back, and looks like you do have a team to contend with, and maybe we have plans for a parade in November.
Maybe.
Which, if I'm going to be at the Breeders' Cup, I may not be able to go.
Ooh.
But anyways, so now one guy who won't be at the parade in Philly or even Pittsburgh is Aaron Rodgers. And the reason why he wouldn't be at a parade in Pittsburgh is because he'd be busy with the team.
That's true.
I mean, he might be with his ayahuasca dealer as well, but, you know, he returned to the Pittsburgh Steelers yesterday, or actually officially today.
1-year contract.
Yep. So he agreed to a 1-year contract. It's worth up to $25 million, probably like 10 to 15. And then, if you hit this threshold, you hit this threshold, it ends up being 25. So inside linebacker Peyton Wilson admitted he was a little shocked when he ran into a familiar face as he walked into the Steelers practice facility today. He saw Rodgers just after 7 a.m. as the 42-year-old quarterback left the building to take his physical with head athletic trainer Gabe Impanza.
I don't know who that guy was.
You know what I said?
Yeah.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah.
The trainer, not
The trainer. Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers. Oh, by the way, did you see some of the schedule release videos? NFL?
I saw at least a couple of them.
Yeah. Let me tell you something.
What's that?
I understood I understood some of the things with the Eagles. The damn video was 14 minutes long on X and YouTube. Now, they did have a shorter version, which they probably should have used.
Right.
That was only 2 minutes.
They should have used that.
It was open the box,
Right.
and you begin with George Washington or whatever, because it was the Washington Commanders.
Right.
And then you crush the box, you put the trinket aside. But it was like Jordan Davis, another guy, the rookie who got drafted last year, the linebacker.
Yeah.
Campbell.
And
then you had Jalen Hurts at the head of the table.
I saw that.
Jordan Mailata and Saquon. And they went around the table a couple of times. And they said, week 1, Washington, 4:30 p.m. Yeah, little by little. And you had little comments here or there or whatever. But, you know, little things like that. So, but he's back. And Now, it was also they asked Jalen Hurts, "You think it's going to be Aaron Rodgers?" Oh, in the way that he says it. So, but so Wilson said, "I was walking in, he was coming out. It was good to see him." I was a little shocked, definitely. I think that's a lot of people
Yeah.
because he's actually in camp or signed a little bit earlier because they went through the OTA practice today. Um, he didn't arrive and sign his contract until just before the mandatory minicamp, which I think is the end of June or towards the end of June. So Chris Boswell, the kicker, said for him to come back early right now around the guys, obviously one of the previous coaches, I mean, it's only positive. And they were with Rodgers and all that,
Right.
Now, he might like it. We don't know.
We don't know.
Because apparently he's married to this mystery woman. I think it's Rosie Palmer, or Five Sisters. I mean, but seriously, didn't now I know he was on Green Bay when they fired Mike Holmgren.
Yeah.
Or not Mike Holmgren. McCarthy. Are you sure? I mean, I don't think that's going to work, do you?
Well, apparently they have been talking the last month or so.
Now, did they go to this darkness retreat room or some shit?
My sources say no.
My sources say yes.
Your sources are better about sources.
But that's the one good thing about having a camera like this. I can do it. You can't do it on that one, but I can on mine.
Okay.
So, but yeah. So I just think that whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, I I don't think that McCarthy does much to me. Um, I don't know what they were thinking because you've gone 50, 60 years since you've actually fired a head coach.
That's true.
Because you've gone from Knoll to Cowher
Yep.
to Tomlin.
Yes, they did.
They all left on their own, allegedly.
Yep.
Cowher, definitely.
Yeah.
Knoll, a little too young for that. I wouldn't be surprised if Tomlin had his arm twisted a little bit, but it is what it is. But whatever. So he's back, but I don't think he's doing those. I don't think he did them too much last year with Pat McAfee. The interviews. I don't think he did, but if he did, I mean, I can't watch that every day. It's just life gets in the way. Start doing other things, all that fun shit. But yeah, so he ended up doing whatever. So he's back, and we'll see. So, let me just see one thing here. And by the way, if like for example, if you're watching on X, I do apologize because guess what? I did not completely edit everything when I use this Monday show channel that I have on Restream because, yes, I know it's May 18th. I screwed up, okay? And when I noticed it, it was too late, and I couldn't change it on X. So, give myself one of those. So, now we get to the fun part of the show. First of all, also eligible will be live Saturday morning at 10 a.m. And ladies and gentlemen, whoops, wrong one. No. Not that. No. All right, hold on. I got a way of doing this, okay? Hide camera. Hide camera. Because this is going to be part of my topic coming up here. Because we are going to be live, well, at 10 a.m., not at Santa Anita.
Right.
It's like too fucking far away.
Right.
But Q&A Racing and also eligible, my show, we're going to be looking at Santa Anita. They got 5 stake races on Saturday. We'll probably look at 3 of them. And be on Q&A Racing website. It's also on Twitch. It's on YouTube. Anything Q&A, as well as my Twitch, you'll see the show in action on Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. And if you're not in those 2 time zones, figure it out yourself. And I got to bring us back in here. There we go. So I do have an update on some of our horses in the Q&A Racing stables. Now, when you see the notes of this, especially on YouTube, and hopefully I don't get in trouble with AJ for putting the word stables in quotes, because technically we don't technically own the horses as the entity of Q&A stables. We just do that because I own a piece of 1 horse, AJ owns pieces of 7 horses. So so the first thing is, one of AJ's horses, Keepsake Box, is going to be running. I need to pull this up here because I thought it was Saturday. Uh, 24th. No, it is Sunday. Okay. Keepsake Box will be running in race 9 at Gulfstream Park. It will be the first time that she will be running on the main track. It is the finale of the 9-race card, and she draws the rail in that race. Got another jockey here, and you know the jockey that they have.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the case this time of year with Gulfstream Park. You take a look at the program, you see the horses, you see the jockey's name, and you say,
Who the fuck is that guy?
but that'll be the 9th race on Sunday. Now, also, AJ kept telling me, we were promoting it on Saturday, that he was saying, oh, Friday, he may be running at Aqueduct, Belmont, the Big A, because he kept saying, oh, we're running at Belmont, we're running at Belmont. You're running at Aqueduct, it's called Belmont at the Big A. So what I want to do is I want to show something here as well, but the race did not fill, from what I can gather. AJ doesn't have complete intel on this because he owns a piece of Schoolyard Superman.
Okay.
And from what Commonwealth was telling him, he would run in this allowance race on Friday. Then he would run in the Pegasus Stakes at Monmouth.
Mm-hmm.
And then if he ran well or even won the Pegasus, and this is a different Pegasus race from the Pegasus in Gulfstream, because you can have the same name at 10 different tracks if you're, but just because we covered the Pegasus last year.
Okay.
So so you can tell it's getting down to the nitty gritty here because we're like totally not paying attention to ourselves. So, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I surmise that. I'm guessing that they did not, that the race did not fill, and I will show this to you guys. You know, and this is probably better for also eligible, but you know, we're filling in time here and got some interesting horse racing stuff we want to share because, you know, because the one thing is, this show, in my opinion, I mean, the way I do things, this show is that I don't get typecasted as the horse racing guy.
Right.
And the horse racing thing is that I am not some Philly guy talking sports. Even though I had the Philly background and
Yeah.
now we have this. Well, wrong one. I gotta figure this shit out. We'll play. I'll play. You know, I'll play around with it, especially on Wednesday. But, yeah. So that's what I, you know, just at my Philly pride. You know, I'm sure if I was born in Chicago, I'd have Chicago shit on there, or
Probably.
you know, or if I lived in New York, I'd have a bunch of armpits because it's the armpit of America. Or if I was in Pittsburgh, I make it look like a NASCAR race because everybody's legally brother and sister out there in Pittsburgh. But I digress.
They can hear you.
What?
I said they can hear you.
Do I look like I care?
Not that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show you what I mean here, how I surmise that this race probably did not fill. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and this information is on Equibase. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for you guys. Give it a little Viagra. So how they know, like, you know, if you own a horse or you're a trainer and you're going back and forth with the owner of it, based upon how they run things, you know, things happen. So the one thing they will do is, under horsemen, they have condition books, they have overnight, stakes books, stake nominations, horse rating frequent, you know, horse ratings. You know, we're going to look at the condition books because this is how you can tell what races are going to be run at a particular track. Now, Schoolyard Superman is at Aqueduct, which is right now under the title Belmont at the Big A. So I'm going to go in under Index. So I think this was a 2-year-old race. So I think this may have been the race on May 23rd, unless it was 3-year-olds and up here. But that is, you know, that's, you know, if you're looking for a grade, you're looking to run a graded stake race, you have that, you know, you have different things. So I will go to the main book, and the race is on Friday, so it'll be that one. So because I had pulled this up before, Friday the 22nd. Okay. So these are the races that they offer, and whether you're the owner, the trainer, somebody associated with the owner or the trainer, you know that these are the races that they have planned to run on Friday the 22nd.
Okay.
And you have 8 races because they plan to run 8 races that day. And they have substitute races. So let's say one of these races do not fill, they will put in one of these substitute races.
I got you.
So, or if they have a bunch of horses in all these races, it may add a race, who knows, but they want to try to keep it at 8 because of the horse population, all that other stuff. So I'm going to go through these main 8 races here. I'm going to give you details of this. So just to let you guys know, Schoolyard Superman is a 3-year-old colt. He is a New York bred. So some of these races would fit under his classifications and some would not. For example, first race, 3-year-olds and up maidens, 6-year-olds on the grass. He's won a race, so he is not eligible. Second race, 2-year-olds, maidens, Phillies. So he does not classify because he's not a maiden. He's got balls, but he is a New York bred. But 2 out of 3 is bad here. He can't run.
Yes.
Race 3 for Phillies and mares, 4 and up. He's got balls, and he's a 3-year-old. Can't run in that. Phillies and mares can't run in race 4. At least that's how they're numbered here, because they can say that these are races 1 through 8, and these 8 races may run through.
Mm-hmm.
It may be that they choose race 6 to be the first race of the day, because they will move races around because, oh, this stakes race only has 5 horses in it. I don't want to make people watch this in race 8, you know, because they also got Fox and Love. So, 3-year-olds and upward, full in New York State, number 1, 20,000. I think he's won more than 20,000 twice, so he wouldn't fit into that. So, and also they're not going to run on the turf. Phillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. Obviously, it's a colt. So, of those 8 main races, most of them he did not qualify for because of either the races for maidens or he's got huevos. So, New York bred maiden claiming 1 mile wouldn't fit into that. Maiden claiming, no. Claiming, no. Claiming, no. So I don't know where AJ got this. So from what I'm seeing here, most of the races he wasn't going to fit in there anyway. So let's go to Saturday just for shits and giggles. Okay. And they have they have 11 planned, and they have 2 alternate races. Okay, so let's look at that one. Maiden filly mare, no. Maiden filly mare, no. Maiden 3-year-olds, no. For 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 2 races, they're not going to put them in for a tag. 3 and up and never won 2 races, no. Even though I think he's only won 1 race. Let me double check that as well. Because they have these conditions where sometimes Pork Chop, welcome in. Just like, you know, Pork Chop, we're talking about, right now we're talking about one of the horses in the Q&A racing stables, our stable. We have I own a piece of one horse. My friend and leader of the Q&A Sports Zone, AJ, he owns pieces of 7 horses. So we were planning on going up to Aqueduct on Friday, but it turns out I don't even think there was any races for him on Friday to run. But we're just going through like what an owner or trainer looks at when they congratulations.
Wow.
Also, he did not listen to me, so that's why he won. He won his first DK horse bet this weekend. Final race at Churchill Saturday night. Also, Churchill Downs was delayed a little bit because I saw that because they had a thunderstorm going through. Yeah. And you know what? Sometimes picking the name works. Like, for example, AJ, the reason why he played the horse My Miss Mo, his wife, her nickname is Mo, and the saddle had AJ on it when they were showing the horse online on Google and wherever. So they did have that, and once I put 2 and 2 together, I said, I said, yeah, the reason why you saw AJ is because you probably had SAJ on the saddle for Safier Joseph, who's the trainer, but the S was probably obscured for whatever reason. But yeah, sometimes you can make a killing just by playing names.
Yep.
Sometimes you can do it because you see a horse taking a dump right before the start of the race, all different things. But, it is what it is. So, but glad you did that. If you ever want to open a different one, I can send you information. Hopefully there's something where I can actually send like a promotional thing. You know what I mean? Well, Mike knows what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That Mike.
This-
So we're continuing on here. I'm just showing you some things I see here. Oh yeah, I'm also checking Schoolyard Superman too. So I don't know if AJ has some intel because he said, well, you're going to Monmouth Park if he runs at Monmouth this weekend. I'm like, okay, I guess I am. Let's see. Stable alerts. Schoolyard Superman. Okay, he does fit in those non-winner 2 races because he's 1 win in 2 places in 5 races.
Okay.
So just to let you know. He finished second last time out, but that got the hopes up and stuff like that. But he hasn't run since then. But they want to get a race in him because they want to run in the Pegasus because I think with the Pegasus in June, I believe, and don't quote me on this because, this is something that I'm going to say from when we do also eligible about Monmouth Park. I believe that the winner of that race gets an automatic entry into the Haskell, which is a Grade 1 race. So let me pull up Schoolyard Superman here. So I did do that. So we're looking over some of the things here. Maiden special weight, he can't run in that, and it's also on the turf. 1 mile, it's a distance you want, but they're not putting him in for a 20,000 tag. He'll get cleaned. They'll have a 98 weight shake to get that horse. Claiming race mile on the 16th on the turf. Higher price tag, but they're not putting in for a tag, and they're also not running on the turf. 10,000 claimer, which is pretty much the bomb there. 4-year-olds and up, he wouldn't qualify anywhere. Phillies and Mares, 4-year-olds and up, wouldn't classify on that either. Starter optional claiming. 3-year-olds and up have started for a claiming price of $75,000 or less, or have started in a maiden alternate, or have never won a race other than maiden claiming or state bred allowance or claiming race. I wonder if this may be the race because he may fit into the eligibility of this race. Because you either have to fit the allowance conditions, which have started a maiden auction race and which have never won a race other than maiden claiming starter or state bred allowance or claiming price of $75,000. So I think he fits the conditions of that race, and that's the distance they want to run, 1 mile. So that may be the race that AJ's talking about. AJ's a little older than me. I'm not saying that to whatever, but that may be what he's talking about.
Okay.
9th race, allowance optional claiming on the turf. Not going to do that. Allowance optional claiming. 4-year-olds and up, which have never won 20,000 twice. He's only 3, so he can't fit into that race. Now, he would fit into this as a 3-year-old, the Paradise Creek, and I don't think they're going to run him on the turf. So I don't think they're doing that. So, and then there's 2 races here that are maiden claiming race, which he does not qualify for because he has a win under his belt. So you have an idea of what they're looking at on Friday and Saturday. Now, I'm going to peek at Sunday. First race, no. Second race, no. Third race, no. Fourth race, no. Fifth race, you wouldn't put him in a claiming race. State bred starter allowance, Phillies and Mares, no. Starter optional claiming, 3 and up. On the turf, so no. On the turf, no. So you get the idea of what they offer. But the thing is, when you go in here, and I have to pull this up here, you can go right down the list here and go right down the track. Like if they wanted to ship him somewhere, they could ship him to Monmouth Park. Boom. You go to the 23rd, which would be the 5th race day of the meet. The Cliffhanger, that's a turf race, so no. 3-year-olds and up, they're going around for a tag. On the turf, no. Phillies and Mares, no. 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds and upward, which have never won 2 races. That's a claiming race, and if they put them in a claiming race, it'd probably be like $100,000. Claiming no, claiming no, claiming no. Mile on the 16th, no. It's a maiden. New Jersey bred, no. Maiden claiming, no. Mile on the 16th on the turf, no. So I'm trying to find, I mean, there's nothing even at Delaware. I mean, at Monmouth, I really see that they could fit him in. Unless you run him on the turf, which I don't think they want to do. I don't think they want to shorten him up to 6 furlongs, but that's how you see when, like, some of these horses, like, fitting people in there.
Right.
You know, so I'd have to look this a little more off screen, but that's how you look. And like the one thing I told AJ, I said, don't be surprised this horse runs at Parks. I said it more along the lines of either the Pennsylvania Derby or the Gallant Bob, not in May or June, because you know you can go over here. You go to Monday, 5th race claiming, starter optional claiming. Claiming, starter optional claiming. Claiming. So you get an idea what they do. So you just have to look around and see all the different things that they have there. And I'm sure his trainer, who is, see, I get so confused because the way everything is set up, oh, you had this is the trainer, and then this is the trainer, and it's
Right.
like I can't keep track, and this doesn't even tell me who the trainer is. But whoever the trainer is, you know, they're like, okay, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Yeah, I mean, they have all these condition books at their disposal, and they can go through them and say, yeah, we'll put him here, you know. But the thing is, the Mid-Atlantic region, and you know this, there's so many different tracks in this region of the country that you can ship an hour to the south of Monmouth, another hour south of Philly, another half an hour to Delaware Park,
Right.
another hour and a half to Laurel, you know. And I even said, I kind of said it in case they wanted to run in a New York bred race and get that easy win.
Mm-hmm.
You can ship them up the Finger Lakes, even 3 hours to the north, up towards Rochester area. Maybe longer than that, but you get the idea.
Hmm.
But that's what they do there. So little exercise there just to let you guys know at least how I think they do it.
Right.
But they go through these condition books and you say, hey, my horse fits this one. Well, what about, let me see. Well, I could run bottle of glue in this race, and I can put Tamak the can in this one, So you get the idea. So that is the update with the stables. Nothing really new with my horse, the Shippy 24 horse, but we do have all different things going on with that. So, but they're at overtime in Buffalo 2-2, and I wasn't sweating my wagers earlier tonight, but now I am. Well, since they scored that second goal.
Yeah.
And I even thought about just cashing out early, but I'm like, you know what? I'm not. I'm balls to the wall.
Okay.
So, anyways, I do want to do something here. And the one thing is, I've been toying with AI left and right. Now, before you say AI is taking jobs, AI is doing this, AI is doing that, trust me, I understand it because, even if you just call it automation, because that's how me and Mike know it from our previous job. Yes, automation is taking jobs away, even if it's not full-fledged AI as we call it now. But AI is both good and is bad. Like, for example, I'm going to hide Mike.
No.
We can still hear you, though.
Okay.
And I'm going to hide myself. And this was done in AI with Microsoft Copilot. This, my new intro screen, was created today on ChatGPT. Just create Joe Quill show, put this, and that on there, blah, 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 and boom. So this is whatever AJ created. It's fine to use it as a tool, in my opinion, but using it for artistic purposes, I'm very against. Yeah, I mean, and also, I understand it takes away jobs. I understand it. And then there was this, which I created today, which is promoting also eligible. That was AI. And here's the thing. And I'll bring Mike back in here, and I'll bring myself back in.
There's one.
There's two.
Here we go. Okay.
And trust me, I know AI can be good. AI can be bad. And I know that, and I'll show you these 4 cards that I created here. So, just remember, I do know the dangers of AI, and so that's the Joe Quill show one that I showed you before. There's the new general also eligible thing, which I will be putting up probably next week, or probably tomorrow, I mean. So it has the Q&A Racing show. I put the Q&A Racing logo here, That's the St. Anita one I mentioned. And
Right.
I already created Saratoga. because the Belmont's in 19, 18 more days. So, it's not perfect, but, it's for what I want, which is just a little card thing. And trust me, I get it both ways. I get it, just a matter of, you know, because, I know it's taking jobs away, plain and simple. So now the other thing is, I have teased for weeks, maybe even months, that I want to do, that I'm going to be gaming on here soon with what I am calling, let me find it here. Let me see if it's on this. Where the crowd went, I was like, oh, fuck. Let me find it here. So, what I plan on doing on Out of the Park Baseball is I plan to play as the Phillies and trying to keep the playoff window open. So, let me. So, there it is. So, this is my theme right now. As soon as I can find the correct window here. That's scored 8 runs in the 12th inning.
Wow.
So, anyways, let me get rid of that because that's what I think of the Mets.
Exactly.
So, that is what I plan on doing. I do not have a set time or anything like that, but it's a play on the title of the series is a play on Dancing on My Own when that became the unofficial Philly song back in 2022 when they made that surprise World Series run.
It sure did.
So what I'm going to do, and I know, and before Pork Chop comments, yes, I know this is something that you will not like because, taking jobs away and also everything that you're saying here, especially using it for artistic purposes, I'm very against because he's a music guy.
Yeah.
And, and I'm sure if I wanted to, something we could discuss after the show as well, maybe he can make a mock song of Dancing on My Own and make it Gaming on My Own, But this was something that I came up with tonight. And trust me, this is just trial by fire and whatever. If you like it, great. If it sucks, that's fine too. But I also understand, and trust me, I watch other streamers that have said how AI is good, AI is bad. I know this person, and I will go as far as saying, even though I'm creating these AI things, but when I'm joking around and telling everybody, oh, I'm running for the mayor of Philadelphia, and some of my platforms are, oh, we're not going to have any more self checkout cashiers, we're not going to have self checkout at supermarkets anymore. We're not going to have this. We're not going. Listen, I'm all for protecting jobs. It's just that even the unions who protect jobs don't completely protect jobs. Like, for example, the UFCW, one of the weakest unions known to man, they, among others, have had to bend over and take it up the ass because guess what? They put those self-serve cashiers in there, which have cost jobs. But I did notice something a couple of months ago when I went to Aldi.
Mm-hmm.
I went there and they put the self-serve machines in. They took them out.
Did they?
And Aldi is non-union.
Wow.
Now, granted, you have 6 registers and you never have more than 2 going because, you know, profit margins and stuff like that as well. So I will say this: I get everything that Pork Chop is saying, and I get everything that others are saying as well. Because guess what? Pork Chop could have created this song, and I will say this: if he wants to do it or somebody else wants to do it, feel free. I don't mind. I'm not gonna. I mean, this isn't set in stone. This is something that I want Mike to hear.
Okay.
And if it leads to being used, then it'll be used. But the thing is, the great thing about Twitch is I can use this song for 2 weeks. Somebody comes up with something better. I'll use that for a month. Or I create something better on AI. I use that. Or Pork Chop may come up with something else. Some other musician that I may know, that or may cross paths with. Hey, I got an idea. I have no problem with somebody like Pork Chop or anybody else creating something as well. This was just something spur of the moment. And I want to play these 2 files here. And I'm interested in seeing how Mike reacts to this. He still says Fiverr, not Fiverr, Fiverr,
Mm-hmm.
is an excellent resource. Yeah. And, and like, for example, because I know Pork Chop from Free For All Show years ago, I know he does music stuff and, maybe he does something for it, I'm not ruling anything out.
Gotcha.
Because I could use this for a couple of weeks and then totally ditch it. It may never see the light of day ever again because I just may use like for example, this lo-fi AI generated lo-fi and whatever. I can use that even. But so these 2 files are both listed as Rock the Fills. Now, granted, I said it was gaming on my own, but they do mention gaming on my own on here and stuff like that. But I think number 1 is better of the 2.
Okay.
But I'm going to play both of these just so you guys can judge. And if I had even more people in here right now, so let's say I had like 15, 20, 25 people,
Mm-hmm.
I would say vote 1, vote 2. But we still have 5 people in here, but still, it's still a good amount. But I'd rather have a larger voting sample size. But
It makes sense.
so I'm going to play these 2 songs, especially for Mike, so he can hear this. And here's the first one. I'm going to mute my microphone so we don't talk over the song. So just play around with this. So here we go.
In the frame, stop the same, baby. Set the roster right. Citizens bank dreams under the playoff lights. We build it pitch by pitch. We grind it hit by hit. One summer at a time. We take this open fire. Check the lineup card. Trade deadline pressure. Never back down hard. Harper in the box. Trey on the run. Schwarber to the moon. Now the chase begun. We build it pitch by pitch. We grind it hit by hit. One summer at a time. We make this city lit. Rock the field. Rock the field. Rock the fields tonight. Rock the field. Rock the field. Bring the trophy home right. World Series, here we come. World Series, all season long. Rock the field. Rock the field. Joe Quills, let's go strong. One safe foul, one long road. Every comeback, every load. From spring training to the fall, Philly stands up, win it all. Rock the field, rock the field, rock the fields tonight. Rock the field, rock the field. Bring the trophy home right. World Series, here we come. World Series, all season long. Rock the field, rock the field. Joe Quills, let's go strong. Hey, hey.
Yeah, we're watching hockey as well, and oh, by the way, yeah, throw the helmet and tell Play Sugar House and wherever else I played it tonight to pay the man.
Right?
Yeah, so the Montreal Canadiens will take on the Carolina Hurricane for the right to play for Lord Stanley's Cup. Not the jockstrap, so what'd you think of that first one?
I like the energy of it.
I mean, the other one's got the same energy. It's a rock thing. But,
Yeah, I said about it, yeah.
but the one thing is, that one at least I kind of heard it a little bit more and kind of didn't because, I got air conditioner, I got this going. I didn't tell them to put players' names in there.
Mhm.
I think it mentioned Citizens Bank Park, Trey Turner, a couple other guys, Harper, So they did mention that as well.
Okay.
So they did do that. Now, like Pork Chop can tell it's AI from the first few seconds. He's probably going to tell the other one's AI from the first few seconds because he is a refined musician that can hear that shit right away. So,
Right.
And, here's the thing. I'm the type of guy where if I don't like something, especially like AI stuff, and I go to Pork Chop, some guy down the street who I realize all of a sudden, hey, I'm a musician. I can do this shit too. Hey, I'm all for it. I'm all for giving somebody an opportunity. So it's not, I'm not completely closing myself to just AI. Yeah. He's heard so much of it by now, it's easy to pick out. Yeah.
Okay.
And he's had his streams where he just jams for like a couple hours straight. He does. I mean, these may not be the right words, but you get the idea. Almost like a karaoke type thing in such a way where, like, he'll have his playlist of songs that he does,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll play these songs. You just say, all right, 32, whatever 32 is, let's say.
Right.
I mean, it's not karaoke, but it's the best way to describe like how the setup is on the screen and seeing the list of his songs and stuff like that and requesting. That's what I mean. It's not karaoke, but it's the best way to describe how he would play the songs that you want him to play.
Gotcha.
Guitarioke. Well, tell you what, you can feel free to use that for free. I'm not going to charge you for it. You can run with it, and so
I do like it, though.
so here's the second one. This one I think is 15 seconds longer. He's good. So this also may make pork chop cringe, which, I do apologize. I admit, you know. And trust me, I know all about AI and all that. I've said it a million times, but here's the second song that was created. And, we'll see. This is also Rock the Fills.
Okay.
But, it's just they spit me 2 Rock the Fills files for whatever reason. But here's the second one. So here we go.
Yeah! Hey, 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 yeah! Gaming on my own, Joe Quill's at the helm. Philly on the screen, 2026 in the frame. Start to save, baby. Set the roster right. Citizens bank dreams under the playoff lights. We build it pitch by pitch. We grind it hit by hit. One summer at a time. We take this thing legit. Rock the Phils, rock the Phils, rock the Phils tonight. Woo! Rock the Phils, rock the Phils. Bring the trophy home right. World Series, here we come. World Series, all season long. Rock the Phils, rock the Phils. Joe Quills, let's go strong. Check the bullpen fire, check the lineup card. Trade deadline pressure, never back down hard. Harper in the box, Trey on the run. Schwarber to the moon, now the chase begun. We build it pitch by pitch, we grind it hit by hit. One summer at a time, we make the city lit. Rock the Phils, rock the Phils, rock the Phils tonight. Woo! Rock the Phils, rock the Phils. Bring the trophy home right. World Series, here we come. World Series, all season long. Rock the Phils, rock the Phils. Joe Quills, let's go strong. One safe fire, one long road. Every comeback, every load. From spring training to the fall. Philly stands up, win it all. Rock the Phils, rock the Phils, rock the Phils tonight. Woo! Rock the Phils, rock the Phils. Bring the trophy home right. World Series, here we come. World Series, all season long. Rock the Phils, rock the Phils. Joe Quills, let's go strong.
Oh, I didn't. And if that ended up going wonky, I do apologize because I did not mute my microphone. But I just had to share with Stevie Wags that I had Montreal tonight. So, and you know what? I'm going to do one other thing. Somebody else got to see that as well. I don't think you know who that is, but
Yeah.
thoughts on that one? I mean, it's pretty much the same thing, but
Yeah, but I can tell a difference.
yeah. I mean, it's also longer.
It is longer, but it was something about the first one that's different than the second one. First one did this to me. Second one, but that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So which one do you like better?
First.
The first one?
Yep.
Because at least on the second one, I can hear Harper, I can hear Trey, I can hear Schwarber hitting it to the moon.
Oh yeah, well yeah, I can see that, but as far
yeah.
as that overall thing, yeah. My
But
mind would be the first one.
And it may be, and I may not even use them. This is just something, this ended up being show filler tonight, but and especially since you're here, I can actually play it and get your opinion of it, But I also understand the ramifications of AI, like as Pork Chop was saying. So it's not like put my head in the sand saying, fuck you, everybody, I'm using AI. I have no problem if Pork Chop would say, hey, what do you think about this song? Hey.
Remember the song they play on Sunday Night Football? I've been waiting all day for Sunday night. That's what that second one kind of reminded me of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
she rocks that, and that's what that.
Well, that first Sunday night game, we've been waiting 9 months for Sunday night.
right. But yeah.
And goddamn, do we have to see the Cowboys and the Giants again on Sunday Night Football Week 1?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. But I can see
and then I gotta hear somebody telling me, "Oh, the Giants are so much better," and then Jackson Dart blows out his knee. I'm like, "Oh, all right, actually, I won't." I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
I can see you use both of them, but I like the first.
But you got Jameis Winston.
Yeah. Jameis.
So, and this may be something that may be a Monday night staple where, hey, Mike, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? But.
Well, we could do that. That'd be a different segment of this, yeah.
But also, I'm not totally closed-minded, CLOSED, not CLOTHED. Even though I was clothed-minded when I was at Target today. I did buy 2 shirts today.
Okay.
In case we go to Monmouth, in case we go to Saratoga,
right.
In case you and I go to Monmouth or Delaware, or even Parks. But yeah, so it is what it is. So trust me when I say this, and I do say this. I do look at the whole ramifications because Mike's been affected by AI or just automation before AI became in vogue. I know all about it.
Yep.
Actually, I know all about it from 2 different positions.
That's true.
Well, thankfully, I didn't have to do a third where I had to bend over, but oh wait, that's not AI. That's just a device. But so that is it for this show, and Montreal wins. Canada still has hope in this year's Stanley Cup.
Yes, they do.
But I think it's going to be Hurricanes in 5. Because I wouldn't be surprised if they lose one of the first 2 games at home, maybe even game 1.
Mm-hmm.
Because when Carolina steps on the ice in Raleigh on Thursday night, it'll be the first game that they played in 12 days.
Wow.
Thank you, Flyers. Actually, can't blame the Flyers for that. It was just that, they were outmatched and whatever.
Right.
So, but they play on Thursday. Game 1 is on Thursday. Game 1, Vegas and Colorado will be Wednesday. And that whole Pacific Division had been shit all year. I get the feeling that maybe Vegas pulls off an upset.
Really?
And we see Vegas.
Oh, my.
And notice they say East Finals / NHL semis, because remember they had that weird setup in 2021 where you had 5 different divisions.
Right.
Or 4 or 5 different divisions, and Canada had to be its own division because of everything else with COVID. So it was just like, well, whoever wins the Canada division playoffs will play or you had the 4 division playoffs. You had Canada, you had the Pacific, you had the Southeast, the North. However, they had the divisions, and once you got to the Final Four, it was 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3,
Right.
and I will say this to my dying day, even though I'm not really that much of a Vegas fan, even though I do have a couple of Vegas shirts, but that's a topic for another day. Vegas drew the short straw despite being the number 1 remaining seed because they had to travel from Vegas to Montreal and back, which is one of the longer flights east to west
That's true.
to play in that series,
Yep.
where New York and Tampa just had to go north-south. They had to go east-west.
Makes it different.
But no matter what it was, you had 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3, and
Right.
even if they had like a choice in who they wanted to play, they probably would still have chose Montreal. But 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3, it was just that these other three teams were all on the Eastern Seaboard. Now, let's say if it was Calgary or Vancouver, oh yeah, it's a better matchup. But the way the one season they had to do it to get the season in, it was just the way that it just worked out. So, but anyways, Mike, thank you once again, and that'll be it for this show. And I will be back tomorrow night. No AI, not even Allen Iverson, not Andre Iguodala, not artificial intelligence, none of that shit. Just me and you and whatever comes up, and another emote that Pork Chop has on his site. And I got to work on mine as well. I got to get them started. So list a mental Rolodex of things that I want to do, but I think I have like 10 Rolodexes in my head. I think that's why my head is so huge. But that's it for now. Do appreciate everybody. And Mike, you're not stealing this from me like AJ did on Saturday, because AJ stole this line from me on Saturday. I'll see you guys in the winner circle,
Did he?
and I'll see you tomorrow night. Yeah, he did.
Wow, he didn't mean to.
No, he did it on purpose. But
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
But that's it. Have a great night, everybody.